Hello Mila, hello Jack. Hello everybody else who's watching, and welcome to Storytime with Grandad. Today's book is from Ivor the Engine, and it is Ivor and the Elephant. The evening sun lit each puff of steam that rose from the funnel of Ivor the Engine, as he trundled peacefully homeward, pulling a flat truck with a basket of pigeons on it. Leaning out of his cab, watching the warm, sunlit landscape roll past, were Jones the Steam, who was Ivor's driver, and Evan Evans, who was known as Evans the Song because he was the choir master of the Grumblian District Choral Society. With Ivor's help, they had persuaded the 28 pigeons to fly down off the roof of Miss Price's little house at Llangubin and settle in the basket. Now they were taking them home to Mrs. Brangwyn. Very calm and contented they felt as they listened to the quiet thudding of Ivan's pistons and the clip-clop of the rails under his wheels. Whoosh! Zonk! Ivor had slammed on his brakes. Jones and Evans piled up in the cab, and the truck and pigeons nearly lifted off the rails. Youch! Wailed Jones, rubbing a badly bumped nose. He climbed down and spoke sternly. Now look here, Ivor, you know, as well as I do, you are not supposed to slam on your brakes like that. Excuse me, said Evans, I think perhaps Ivor was right to stop. Indeed, said Jones with dignity. Well, yes, there is a rock on the line. There was something on the line, something large and lumpy and grey. Jones the Steam inspected it. That's not a rock, he announced. That's elephant. Oh, so it is. A dead elephant. Not dead, just resting, said Jones. Come along now, elephant. Time to wake up. The elephant opened one eye. Sorry to disturb you in that, but this is a railway line, you see. The elephant understood. It sighed and slowly began to move. After much rolling and heaving, it was on its feet. Then it began to walk away. The elephant's walk was unsteady. Oh, look, cried Evans, it has a bad foot. What shall we do? Well, there's only one thing we can do, isn't there? Replied Jones. So they did it. They ran after the elephant and invited it to wait for them. They took the basket of pigeons off the truck and persuaded the elephant to sit in its place. Then they tied the box of pigeons very carefully on top of the elephant. Now, you hold tight on the corners, Elephant Bach, said Jones. We don't want you rolling off. Boo! Chuff, chuff, chuff. That's all very well, said Evans the Song. We've got the elephant onto the truck, but where are we taking it? Ah, well, we shall have to think about that, said Jones the Steam. They thought. They tried to think of somebody who had room enough and time enough and kindness enough to look after a wounded elephant. Then with one voice they shouted, Mr. Hughes, the gasworks. They took the elephant to the gasworks, but Mr. Hughes, the manager, was a bit reluctant to receive an elephant as a guest. But you're known to be a great animal lover, Mr. Hughes, cried Jones. Budgerigars, Mr. Jones, it's budgerigars I keep, not elephants. Oh, look, sighed Evan Evans. The poor thing is shivering, it's cold. Jones and Evans stood and waited. They knew that was all they had to do. In the end, Mr. Hughes gave an angry snort. Oh, all right then. I'm the idiot as usual, he shouted. Get it unloaded and dump it over there. Once he had decided to accept his huge guest, Mr. Hughes could not have made it more welcome. He fetched straw and canvas for a bed. He built a tarpaulin tent to keep off the wind. He even fitted up a special gas fire for the elephant's personal comfort. Well, what's the point of living in the gasworks if you can't keep warm? The elephant ate 9 loaves of stale bread kindly given by the baker, drank a bucket of water, and then settled gratefully down on the bed, closed its eyes, sighed, and slept. The next day, Miss Ludgrove, the vet, came by to examine the elephant. She is a very healthy-looking young thing, said Miss Ludgrove. Can you get her to sit up while I look at her foot and listen to her chest? Jones asked the elephant to sit up. She not only sat up, she held up her foot for inspection. "Ooh, you're good with elephants, Mr. Jones. Can you ask her to say 99? "Oh, don't be daft, Miss Ludgrove." "Yes, she has a nasty cut on that foot. You must bathe it in hot water and disinfectant. Hot water, mind, as hot as she can stand. Oh yes, and administer 16 of these horse pills every 4 hours." Miss Ludgrove departed. Jones," said Evans, "are you going to administer the pills?" "Certainly," said Jones the Steam. "How?" They tried different ways. They offered her the pills on a plate. She blew them across the yard. They hid them in some bread, but she just wouldn't eat the bread. They hid them in cabbage leaves, but she just shook them out. In the end, Mr. Jones fetched a cardboard tube and tried to blow them into her mouth. The elephant blew first. That was no good, so they decided to bathe her foot. Kettles of boiling water, a bottle of disinfectant, a huge tin bath, a big old curtain for a towel, everything they needed was fetched. Jones prepared the bath and set it beside the elephant. "Come along now, Elephant Buck. Lift up your bad foot and put it in the nice warm bath. Come along, it will do you good." There is no doubt Jones was good with elephants. The elephant lifted her foot and placed it gently into the steaming bath. "There now," said Jones. "Yow!" screeched the elephant. Splodge, slurp, clunk, bing, bang, bonk, poof. That was the bath, the water, the towel, the disinfectant, Evans the song, and Jones the steam, all falling about in different directions as the elephant lashed out. "Oh, that'll do," shouted Jones the steam. "I've had enough of elephants. Let's go and take Mrs. Brangwyn her perishable pigeons." Boop, chuff, chuff, chuff. Ho, 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 ho. How Mr. Brangwyn laughed when he heard what had happened. What a carry-on! Ho, ho, ho! Nursing an elephant now, is it? That's a skilled job. I know, I lived in India. Suddenly Mr. Brangwyn stopped laughing. "I've got just what you want," he said. He dashed indoors and fetched an object. A strange thing it was, like a leather bucket with laces. "Here you are," he said. "I bought it in Bangalore 40 years ago." "Oh yes," said Jones, "very nice. But what is it?" "Elephant's boot, man! Elephant's boot," roared Mr. Brangwyn. "You bandage the foot and put on the boot. Take it. I don't need it." "Oh, righto then, thank you." They tied the boot onto the flat truck and set off back to Grumbly. Boop, chuff, chuff, chuff. Oh my goodness, oh my golly gosh! As Ivor passed the place where they met the elephant, a dark man leapt over the hedge and ran after them. "Oh dear me, please wait, wait for me." He ran down the railway, shouting and waving his arms. "Hey, Jones," said Evans, "somebody is chasing us. Funny-looking bloke, wearing a pudding cloth on his head." "Stop, Ivor." Psst, clop. "Oh, my goodness gracious," panted the dark man. "Oh, you are kind to stop. Oh, I am Bani Makorji, and I wish to ask you one question. Why do you carry an elephant's boot? Is it for my Alice?" "Is your Alice an elephant?" "Oh, yes, she's lost, and I am in such trouble if I do not find her." "Well, I reckon you do find her," said Jones the steam. "Jump on, and we'll be down there in a jiffy." Boo! Chuff, chuff, chuff. When Alice saw Banny, she lifted her trunk and trumpeted. Prrr! Banny ran to embrace her. Oh, you are bad. Oh, Alice, you are bad. He wept and held her tight. Oh, Alice, what would I have done if I had not found you? Oh, Alice, you are bad, bad, bad. Banny beat her thick hide with his fists and wept for joy. Oh, I thank you for caring for my Alice. Now she is safe and well and all right. Well, not quite all right, said Jones. She has a badly cut foot. Alice is hurt, said Banny. Serious at once. Show me. Alice lifted her foot. That has to be bathed in very hot water and disinfectant twice a day, and 16 of these horse pills every 4 hours. Oh, thank you most kindly, said Banny. He took the box of pills. Now, Alice, open the mouth very widely, please. Alice opened her mouth. Clop, 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 clop. Banny threw in the 16 horse pills. Now close your mouth and chew. Alice closed her mouth and chewed. Now please to swallow. Alice made a terrible face, but she did as she was told. She swallowed the pills. Oh, you are a good elephant, cried Banny. Oh, you are good and beautiful. Then they prepared to bathe her foot. When the time came for her to put her foot in the bath, Jones and Evans took cover behind the tent. Alice gave a very small squeak as she put her foot in the water, but that was all. She's done it, shouted Jones. But of course, replied Banny. Oh dear, you should have seen the mess when we tried. Water everywhere, pills all over the yard. Alice was disobedient, cried Banny. Oh, Alice, you are badder and badder. Say you are sorry. Alice knelt with her forehead on the floor and squeaked. Oh, get up now, Elephant Back, said Jones. We know you didn't mean any harm. Hold still while I dry your foot. They dried and bandaged Alice's foot and put on the boot. Oh, it is fitting, cried Banny. Oh, you are kind and good. Now I can sit down. 3 days I've been sitting down, not at all, searching for my Alice. Banny settled on the canvas by Alice. He took out a little pipe and began to play a lullaby. Jones and Evans crept away. Soon the pipe fell from Banny's fingers, and he slept, safe with his elephant by their own gas fire in Grumbly Gasworks. The next morning they were up early. Alice stood on a pile of coal, looking out over the wall and listening with her huge ears. She's hearing something, said Banny. Prrrr, trumpeted Alice. Faintly from far away came an answering call. Oh, Alice, lift me up. Alice lifted Banny lightly onto her back. Oh, yes, they are coming. All my elephants are coming. All of them? Asked Jones. Yes, and the lions, and the seals, and the lady with the snakes, and the high wire, and the funny men. They are Mr. Charlie Banger's circus, and they are coming here. Banny was quite right. Soon a colourful cavalcade of lorries and cages drew into the quiet square of Grumbly Town. Excuse me, shouted Charlie Banger. Does anyone happen to have seen an elephant? What colour elephant? Asked Mr. Ease. There she is. What a thundering and trumpeting there was in Grumbly as Alice ran to greet the other elephants. When Charlie Banger heard how kind everybody had been to his elephant, he insisted on showing his appreciation with a free show for everybody in the town. Roll up, free show tonight, everybody invited. Be Charlie Banger's guests. Oh, the excitement! Ivor rushed back to Llanniog, collected everybody he could find in any trucks and carriages, and sped back to Grumbly. Boom, boom, tarara, boom, 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 tiddly-om, pom, 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 pom. The band was playing, and the big tent filled the square as Ivor drew in. Oh, what a marvellous circus that was! Plumed ponies pranced, and light-footed ladies danced from one to the other. A man rode on a one-wheeled cycle on a wire. A golden cage of gentle lions had a fierce man in it. He was the great Galvani. There were seals and funny men, and a lady with snakes. But best of all were the elephants, and best of all the elephants was Alice, all dressed up in gold and glitter. Jones and Evans clapped until their hands were sore, and then, when it was all over, Charlie Banger and his friends came and sat around Ivor's boiler and had a cup of tea. The end. Goodbye, Mila. Goodbye, Jack. I'll see you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.